Hello, everyone. How the hell are you? This is the Doom Tomb Podcast. My name is Chris. I am your host. And today, before we get into the interview, I have a few things to get off my chest. And first and foremost, it's bands' gear and bands' merchandise being stolen. I have seen this and heard this time and time again. If you listen to a previous episode with Great Electric Quest, they go into detail about what happened to their equipment. And I've heard it from a couple other bands too. And most recently, I heard it from another band. And it's just ridiculous, man. I mean, I can fully understand how it takes a lot of money to do this. And it takes time. And when somebody takes stuff that just isn't theirs, it is so frustrating. I mean, I'm upset. I'm frustrated by it. And it's not even my gear. So I can only imagine what the bands are dealing with. So why am I asking or talking about this? Because I'm asking a few questions, really. Number one, if you are a band and you're listening, what do you do to protect your gear? I have heard several things. Some people say they take turns sleeping in the van if they're on tour, which has worked. I knew somebody that there was a smash and grab that was going to happen, and it was stopped because he was in the van and scared the guy off. Also, some other people have said that they wait outside the venue. They wait by their trucks, their vans, whatever, to make sure nothing gets taken. I mean, you know, you can never be too safe, I guess, but you got to do something. Now, also, I'm wondering, is there a way to put GPS, like a little GPS system or something, even in your guitar case or somewhere in the rig? I don't know. I'm kind of blind as to that. I don't even know if that exists. If it doesn't, there is $1 million idea for somebody, and it's all yours. Just give me a cut, okay? So, yeah, that really, it really just chaps me and rubs me the wrong way. But unfortunately, I know this will continue, but maybe if we have a greater consciousness of it, maybe we can help each other into stopping it. So I'm going to step down right now and step off of my soapbox and get to the next topic. Spotify. Spotify did an initial public offering recently, and that's a streaming service. I'm sure you've all heard of it. I'd like to know what you think of the streaming service and what the future is, because also iTunes was saying they're going to stop doing digital downloads. And what does that do? It makes people get pushed towards Apple Music and another streaming service. So will they increase in value? I'm not completely sure. I mean, when Spotify did this initial public offering, they didn't work with the big banks. So I don't know. Is there any incentive for the banks to even support it? Is it a risk for investors? I have no clue. But if anybody does, I'd appreciate you telling me. DoomToonPodcast@gmail.com. And lastly, so when I was growing up, I grew up in New York and then moved down to Florida and then eventually out in Arizona. So when I was in New York, I grew up listening to like AOR stations, album-oriented rock, like WNEW-FM, WPDH 101.5, 92.3 K-Rock, WPLJ, which for the majority of the years was like top 40, but they used to be AOR in the 70s and 80s. And 89.5 WSOU, that was Seton Hall Radio in New Jersey, and that they played a great bunch of stuff. So I don't see a whole lot of those. You used to have like 5 or so radio stations. Now you're down to probably 1. And I'm curious, for the genre of music or the genres that I'm covering, is there any segments, or are you hearing it on the radio at all? Please let me know and give me a shout out to your radio station if they're doing that. Like, I've heard some radio stations that they'll do a quote unquote Into the Pit or a Hard and Heavy Hour or something like that, where they'll throw some music in, and it might be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours tops, once a week. So if somebody's doing that, I'll give them a shout out. I'd love to support and just challenge anybody to maybe get this on the radio for terrestrial, give it to a wider audience. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas about that. So All right, thanks for giving me all that time to yammer and babble. Now, I want to get into the interview. This is with Ripple music recording artists War Cloud. They're based out of Oakland, California, and I want to give a big shout out and a big thanks to them. We did this in their tour van in Tempe, Arizona at the Yucca Tap Room. It was after hours. They just did their show. They didn't know if they were going to have time because they had to hit the road. They had to get over to Texas. They had a bunch of shows over in Texas. I was leaving for Texas. After the interview, it was so late that I just went home. I changed my clothes, took a shower, and headed on over to Austin. So, if you haven't seen War Cloud, I know they just did a tour, and I believe they have some big things coming up for 2018. Let me tell you what you missed. Some huge ripping solos and a ton of high energy. They're a great band to check out live, so if they go back out on tour in the end of 2018, please be sure to catch them while you can. And if you didn't catch them this time around and you wanted some tour merch, have no fear. Go to their web store. I'll put a link in the show notes, and you can pick up some limited tour merch, especially one of the T-shirts that I picked up was an illustration done by Matt Sabbath. Now, if you need an illustration done for some choppers, some bikes, some hogs, some motorcycles, whatever, go to him. He is the man, and I'll put a link in the show notes. All right, I think that's enough. So, let's get into the interview with War Cloud. We are on location at the Yucca Tap Room, and we are with members of War Cloud. Gentlemen, can you please introduce yourselves?
Tony Campos, lead guitar.
Alex Wine, guitar and vocals.
Joaquin Ridgel, lead drums.
Taylor Roach, bass and backup vocals.
Now, right before we started, Taylor said that he's got a podcast also. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so for the past, I'm in the craft beer industry.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 4 years.
Right?
Started in a little town called Concord, California, called the Hop Grenade. And the sister business of that is called the Brewing Network. It's been around for about 12 years.
Wow.
So I pretty much run the boards and do a couple other shows.
Okay, so since we're at the Yucca Tap Room, and they've got about 30-something beers on tap, did you take a look over there?
Oh, yeah. I was one of the first ones to be. I mean, so the rest of you guys walked into, the right side of this tap room and were like,
right.
Cool, Coors, Tecate. And I was just like, I'm going to go get something local from here that's brewed here.
So you're definitely not a PBR man.
Oh, I'll still drink a PBR.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But
So-
I just like, I like going off and exploring different things. I love it.
So what did you have here tonight, or what did you see that sparked your interest?
I had the local Kolsch.
Right?
I forget what the brewery is. I just
don't-
wanted something low ABV. I'm not sure
All right,
exactly
all right.
what the brewery was, but it was good. It was decent.
And what would you consider? What would you consider as a decent light beer, like maybe a blonde or something? And then what's a great heavy beer?
Oh man, like anything?
Something current,
Something current.
or something that just popped recently.
You know what? I got a shout out to Speakeasy.
Okay.
It's local stuff.
Right.
San Francisco. They got a Pop Gun Pilsner. It's
Man.
always a good go-to.
That's a good one.
Do that, yeah. But I'm also at heart a stout guy. So I do like some heavy stuff too. Oklahoma, Prairie Bomb, Prairie Artisan Ales. Yeah, Prairie Bomb is probably one of the best stouts I've ever had.
And what kind of notes are you getting from that?
Oh man, vanilla, cocoa nibs, oak. They have chilies in that too. Yeah. Every batch is different, which is cool. Yeah, they have different variations on it, which is really cool. I just like how it changes all the time. It's always in flux, which is kind of cool. I guess you can kind of relate that to music and things are always
Absolutely.
changing.
Which we can come up to right now.
Yes.
So you have a release that came out, how long ago now? A couple months?
Yeah, it was September of 2017.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to go over a couple of the tracks, or as many as you have time for.
Sure.
And I just have to say, right off the bat, Although I think that the release is amazing, it showcases you very well. There is nothing like seeing you guys live. Fucking shred. And it's just, as I was talking, I talked to you off mic a little bit about like, it's kind of like I hear a little bit of biker rock, I hear a little bit of this, a little bit of boogie, a little bit of southern. But when seeing you, I'm getting way more. I'm getting some thrash elements and just a whole bunch of other things. Like, so let me just go down the line. I want to start with the first track, "Giver," which I heard tonight. I was super stoked to hear that. As soon as I hear now, if I did a podcast recently, and I think I fucked up probably every lyric I talked about. So this is like, if I'm gonna guess, heading down the highway, going down the highway.
Something like that, yeah.
All right, talk to me about "Giver."
Giver is about having sex on acid.
Really? And who in the band has firsthand knowledge of this?
That would be me.
All right, and now, so you want to speak a little more on this, or?
It was a crazy trip.
Yeah?
Yeah. It actually happened in the snow, too.
Well, that's cold.
You would think, but I wasn't that cold.
Now, you were in a warm place.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Well,
yeah, it's just kind of like my distant memories. That was the experience was maybe 10 years ago, and I wrote the song maybe 5. So basically you formed your own version of a snow angel? Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like a fading memory that was remembered.
All of a sudden it came back around.
Yeah, but something, like something psychedelic, something out of this world.
Right.
Something that gets your blood pumping.
Gets it pumping.
Yeah.
In the cold.
Yeah.
Have any of you, any of others had sex in the snow on acid, or just at least sex in the snow?
I can't. No snow and no acid.
No, none of that. Okay.
Beds and the floor.
Beds and floor. That's where we stuck to. Okay. All right. So let's go to
Sorry, the kitchen.
The kitchen's fun.
Let's go to another track here. Chopper Wired.
Chopper Wired. I love motorcycles. I have a Harley Super Glide, and
Right.
I like to go real fast on it.
Right.
Sorry.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what that song's about. Is just going fast on a motorcycle and cruising, hunting for some honeys.
There's
Oh yeah.
metaphors in there.
Oh sure.
Throw your legs across me and other stuff like that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So you're bringing a little bit of everything into it.
Sure. Yeah. It's like it's a lot of the songs that just really just the base of it is just being an adventure and going fast and living free.
And one of the shirts from your merch has an excellent illustration by Matt Sabbath.
Right. Yeah. Matt Wilkins.
Right.
He's a fantastic illustrator. We sought him out because we wanted to do a shirt design that touched on our songs.
Right.
So that's why there's a sign that says "No Man's Land" and there's a vulture sitting on it with a chopper guy, and he's the chopper guy. So.
If there is somebody to illustrate a motorcycle, that's the dude.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Right on. All right. So, let me ask you this. I'll go into the next track, but what song do you enjoy most playing live out of this release?
Dude.
It depends on the mood of the night, or?
Oh my God. I had no idea. I don't know. It's like
How about tonight?
Well, it's like a funny thing because the way we play live is we write our set. It's like we kind of change our songs so that it works better in a live setting. Like we tie them together and
Right.
different ways, whether they're ringing out into each other or actually just like we touch on the same notes.
Really?
Like, kind of how Vulture rolls right into Giver live.
Right into Giver.
And it does, because it seems completely seamless.
The whole set is one song to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Divide and Conquer.
Divide and Conquer.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Man, yeah, I think
That's my
that
That's your favorite one to play live?
That started with Joaquin. Because
It started with these fucking lyrics I wrote. It started with lyrics I wrote for a death metal band. And, how did it just... they ride blacker than starless night, horsemen cloaked in death. Something about laying paths of genocide and laying things to waste, and it was supposed to be like a metaphor for like the apocalypse, I guess.
That was one of the maybe the only song that started with the lyrics.
I didn't even notice that because I wrote that riff and I was just like pentatonic riffing. You went way darker. That's cool.
It started that way.
Yeah, no, that's
And
cool.
that's an interesting point that you bring up because in interviews I usually ask, I said, which comes first, music or the lyrics? And this is one where lyrics sounds like they came first. And
Yeah.
Are there any other songs on the album where the lyrics came first, or is it mostly the music?
Typically, the music comes first, but that's something that I think we're all trying to kind of grow towards is
I think the next thing, I feel like we kind of want to move towards more little vocal centric, more dynamic stuff, and we might try to change our creative way of doing things. So instead, before, like most of the songs, we would write riffs and just kind of like try to piece them together, and then be like, okay, now let's write a vocal pattern for this. Then it's like write lyrics for this. I think, we should try to kind of design things around some cool vocal pattern, maybe. Especially with now we have kind of dual vocals. I mean, me joining pretty recently,
Right.
and being able to do that, it opens up a lot of things with harmonies and there's a lot more that we can do, a lot more possibilities. So it's real open.
And I noticed that sometimes there's even 3 of you on the mic.
yeah. We'll
And
occasionally do the gang.
That's going to be for another release or for future songs. That's going to be good if you add in some harmonies to it. It's going to bring a whole other element to it.
Yeah, totally.
Really, we're just going to get through the store and then see where that takes us. We really have no plan right now. We kind of know like a general direction of where we want to go, but that could change in an instant. When we get there, we'll get there. But we're definitely, going to get some more dynamic stuff going on.
Now, you brought out some new material tonight. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. That's the new material comes from a different kind of writing process from the first album. The new songs kind of came together as a whole,
Right.
Versus one part meeting another part. We wrote it.
Came together that way.
We wrote it all together.
One is a total Frankenstein.
Drummer song.
Well, I was thinking Dangerous Game and Striker were pretty
Those are
wholesome
more
the way they came together. It came together quickly and as a whole versus bringing a riff to Joaquin and then
But there's always been
picking up
things
the
where
pieces.
we go to the riff bank
right.
and just sort of listen to shit that we recorded months ago or even years ago, and what did we ever do with that? Nothing. And then we try and do something with it.
Yeah, there's some harvesting of parts.
That's a testament to always be recording.
Yeah.
Because you never know where the next gem is going to be.
Totally.
What can you tell me about Hurricane?
Hurricane has been 3 different songs.
Okay.
And
Was it different titles as well, or?
At one point,
it probably was. That
Right.
was the song that changed the most out of any song on the album. It went through 2 different rebirths.
Right.
and has a part from a really old song.
Yeah, it was
Whose
one of
name
those things that we
go
could afford.
unmentioned.
We could afford to harvest parts of an old song because we still hadn't came out with
Wasn't
an
it
album.
super slower for a little while?
Yeah, it was
And me
super.
and you wrote that.
Oh,
then
yeah.
Me and you just jammed that intro
Super
riff and made a riff.
groovy. It started off as like a groovier kind of Hendrixy, kind of swing to it, right?
Yeah.
And then we were like, this isn't really what we want to do. We want to kind of go balls deep.
But that's how it happened. It evolves.
Yeah.
And
that's another thing with our songs that I don't really think any of our songs are complete because we're always changing them to fit our live set.
Right. Speaking of the live set, I like asking this. I'm a total mark for a cover. Are there any covers that you ever play in the set?
Yeah, we usually roll with one cover, but
is that a secret, or are we gonna share?
No,
that
we'll share some covers. We actually recorded a cover of "Lover All I Can" by Kiss.
Really?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
That's a deep cut.
It's got fucking cowbell.
Yeah. Are you all about the cowbell?
No. I know. When covering a song with cowbell, you can't just not play it on a
You
cowbell.
can't redact the cowbell.
No,
You can't.
Just change it to something else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we have done what we did. We used to do "Lady of Mars" by Darkstar a lot.
We might bring that back.
Yeah, that's always a good one. No one really. Stormtrooping by Nugent.
I think we should.
We did.
Dude, yeah, exactly. See,
Yeah.
yeah. Now that I'm here,
What else
can
we
do
did?
that.
Oh, we did. "Waiting for an Alibi" by Thin Lizzy.
Really?
Oh, yeah, we did "Blackout" by the Scorps.
Blackout.
We love covering our.
We did a lot of
Well, let's hope we hear some of that in the rest of the tour here. Maybe break one out.
We'll see.
All right.
We have a day.
So what about No Man's Land?
No Man's Land is just satisfying that little doom itch, that little like somber swing.
Right?
It's a song that we don't usually play live just because of how much slower it is compared to the rest of our set. We like the high energy and
Sure. Oh, yeah.
it's
believe
something
me.
to have like on the album, but I don't think it's necessarily vital to our live set.
Okay. And if people have not seen you live, they just don't get it, man. I'm telling you, you guys brought such heat, such energy.
They probably won't get it.
It was.
That's fine. That creates demand. It's cool.
we usually don't even play Red Witch, but we all agreed that keeping that in our back pocket for an encore would be fun.
Yeah, you brought it out. That was
Yeah.
awesome. I was excited to hear it. So what about what can you say about Speed Demon?
Oh man, that's just
Speedy.
it's just like
It's about fast.
That one's so
Yeah.
fun. That one's really fun. I think you were saying that's one of your oldest songs that you're.
it is just like dumb fast rock and roll, and
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than
you
that.
also told me that at some point you were in some kind of rockabilly phase, and you can hear it on some of that. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's just super fun.
And would that be one of your favorite songs to play live too, or I mean,
I think so because I get to scream.
it's hard sometimes, picking the favorite. It's like picking a favorite kid. You like them all. You watch them grow. You nurture them, and
Different
then
kids do different things for you.
Exactly. That's a. If you could, I know this is audio, but if you could see his face. All right, and so with that, I know we haven't went on one other song to talk about, but where do you get the inspiration for songs? And what I mean by that is there a specific time, a specific space? Like, I talk with some other bands, and some people write on the road, and some don't. Do you write anything on the road? Do you come up with concepts or ideas with noodling around on the guitar or anything? Or
I think we all have our own little things that we do separately. I think Tony was saying the other day that he was just, in the back, like, I don't know, kind of noodling around, like trying. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Oh, I just write whenever. Sometimes I'll be like.
he writes
sometimes
whenever.
I'll just be like sitting in the shower and I'll be all humming.
Yeah,
something,
there you
and I'll
go.
just
Yeah.
pull up my phone and be like hum some.
Sometimes
like,
inspiration happens.
There's a guitar part. And
Yeah.
just drums all.
I mean,
and then like I'll go back like 2 days later and like, oh yeah, now I gotta try to do this on my guitar.
Like it hits me randomly. I seldom actually sit down by myself and do it. I think I'm more of a collaborator. I think I like being like, all right, like me and Alex will get together and like grab a 6-pack, go to his spot and just like, cool, just bounce ideas off of each other. But otherwise, for me, it's like completely random. You'll be in the shower, you'll be at the store, something will be like, something will just hit you, and you got to record it. Like you said earlier, like.
Yeah, and you got to record it because sometimes it's really bad.
Or else that's gone.
Like sometimes you're like if you smoke some weed and have a couple of beers, like I'll just get in this mindset where I'm like, I'm ripping so hard, and then I record it like 10 minutes of just guitar, and I'm like, I gotta listen to this the next morning, and then I wake up and I'm like, that was so fucking terrible. Or there'll be like 30 seconds where it was good, and then I'm just like,
you went into another place.
Yeah, I'm like in another place, and whoever else can hear what the hell I'm doing, I feel sorry for them. Yeah, but they're fun.
We got another track here, Vulture City. Now that like you said, that's on the merch, that's on the shirt, which is in red and black.
Correct.
Vulture's probably constantly, I think, my favorite to play live. Usually just because where we played in the set towards the end, I'm pretty warmed up and good by then. Yeah, and it's like that middle tempo of song, and it's just like you can start it out just digging into it super hard.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. It's just always just going full speed.
Then we just go like full harmony in the middle too. That's fun.
Vulture City is about sky burials.
Sky burials?
Yes.
Can you?
So it's like when you die,
right?
They take your body up to like the summit of a mountain and let vultures pick you apart.
Seriously?
Yeah, they'll tie you up and like slice you up to get it started.
Do they marinate like a little like salt and pepper with a like maybe a little garlic powder? That'd be delicious.
Maybe when I get buried in the sky, I'll let you know.
If I did, I would personally want to marinate in like a mojo because that's just delicious.
Yeah.
Now before I was talking to a couple of you, and Joaquin, you had a story because I noticed your drum set and especially your kick drum. I thought the illustration or the art on it was really it pops really well. But you had a story about a different bass drum.
Oh God! I don't even know if I'm ready to go on record.
Oh, should I? Should we keep that quiet?
No, that's a great. No bullshit. You gotta say it. It's a great story.
Yeah. So one day, on the way to a show in San Francisco,
we were gonna play the Parkside.
We played the Parkside.
It's on the way back.
We played the Parkside, and for one reason or another, it's because Janice couldn't make it to the show. So Alex offers me a ride in his truck. I'm like, okay, sure. We'll load all the stuff in the back. It barely fits, and we get to the show. And somehow we load things in a different order.
Right.
The bass drum winds up just a few inches higher than it was. It's on top of something, and it bounced out the back of the truck.
We didn't find that out till we were on the Bay Bridge, and so it's too late to like circle back and find it because we didn't even know when it happened.
It just disappeared.
Yeah.
It was just gone all of a sudden.
Was that the only thing that was lost, or was there anything else?
That was the only thing. And actually, I managed to get another kick drum, same dimensions, same color even, the next day on Craigslist, and pick it up and slap a new bass drum head on it and play a show the next night with that new bass drum.
That's the crazy part. This all happened the night before we were supposed to go up to Sacramento and play the Blue Lamp. So it's like, he has no bass drum. He doesn't know what the hell it is. He's got to figure something out. He made it happen, though. He made it happen with a cool sticker,
and now
too.
we have better art.
Yeah.
We have the new art on the kick drum.
Exactly. It was one of those things that landed up like, oh, cool. Well,
and
that worked out.
It's a little bit lighter.
A little bit lighter. Now, I find it kind of coincidental that it just happened to be on Craigslist. Did it have a few scuff marks on it at all, or?
I would have known if it was the same one.
If you're listening and you come across a War Cloud kick drum, keep it.
Pearl.
Maybe some SFPD.
I think it's a Joey Jordison Pearl 22 by 18 kick
Right.
drum with a War Cloud head on it. Yeah, it's yours. You can bathe your children in it.
And speaking of War Cloud, it's time for the cheesy question, and that is, how did you get your name?
It's from a Wicked Lady song.
Wicked Lady.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. And would you ever do any music by them, like a
Wicked
little
Lady?
Yeah.
I think we might have had a cover.
I think our first cover was a Wicked Lady song, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Right.
a long time ago. Yeah, Run the Night.
Run the Night.
Run the Night by Wicked Lady. That was our first cover, but that's also they have a song called War Cloud, and
Okay.
that's how we got the name.
Now, so how long you guys gonna be on the road for?
12 more days?
A couple more days?
12 more?
12 more? And then what's the rest of the plans for 2018? Are you going to be hunkered down working on some new material?
That's the plan. I mean, we have 3 new songs right now, but we're definitely looking to finish writing and hopefully record by the end of the year.
Right.
With the goal is to release in 2019, second album. And we do have plans to make an appearance at Doomed and Stonefest in Indianapolis in the
great.
fall, October 5th.
And how long did this album take to create and, from start to finish?
As far as the recording,
Yeah.
3 days.
Wow. That was cool. You had every...
We
But you know
recorded for 3 days, and then I don't know how many hours Tim mixed it.
Right.
But it was recorded, mixed, and mastered by Tim Green at Louder Studios in Grass Valley. But just the recording process, 3 days.
3 days. That
We
was
went
quick,
up
but
ready.
You went, and that's the
Yeah.
point. You got to go in ready. Some people, they, screw around and they get into the studio and start doing the work. You did all the work first and then brought it in, so it makes it so much tighter and so much quicker and so much simpler.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we knew those songs backwards and forwards.
So if, do any of you have a specific genre of movies that you like to watch at all?
I like horror movies.
Horror?
Yeah, I'd say horror.
Okay.
But not so much like the super gory shit. I'm a huge fan of Alien.
I like
I
gore.
love Alien. That's probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's suspenseful. It's suspense horror.
Yeah, I think there's more art in that than there is just like anyone could do shock value, like gross stuff. But yeah, to create, it's kind of like, I don't know, a band that does really dynamic build-ups and stuff. It's like, it's that much cooler when it does hit.
Yeah, like Rat Race, huh? Rat Race.
Rat Race.
Comedy is rule. Alien to Rat Race.
Okay, so we got horror and we got comedy. So you're going to be on a soundtrack. What kind of soundtrack do you want to be on, or what movie franchise do you want to be on, or director?
Wild Hogs 3.
Wild Hogs 3.
with Tim Allen.
We're rolling down the highway.
The new Super Troopers movie.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Super Troopers. There
Right?
we go.
Be like Farva's theme
I
song.
could see that happening, yeah.
Yeah.
And even sticking with the movies, so War Cloud's out for a few years. They're touring. They're doing great. They're headlining arenas. Who's going to be the actors or actress? No judgment. That's going to play you in the movie.
Dave Grohl.
Okay, Dave Grohl. Yeah. All right, I can see. Yeah, I can see that. Joaquin, do you have anybody?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Keep the names correct there. All right.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, man.
Yourself?
See?
Man, who could play me? Cindy Crawford, for sure.
Cindy. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's.
I just watched an infomercial with her the other night. She popped in my head.
You're a very busy man at night, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
No, but not making a snow angel with on acid. Then.
No, I'm just watching Cindy Crawford.
And you said, do you have anybody that?
Owen Wilson.
Wow. As in, like in maybe do a soundtrack in Wedding Crashers 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, where are some of the favorite places that you have played live?
Big room at DNA with Pentagram was really cool.
Right. Yeah. And I guess also the second half to that is maybe some bands that you played with that everything just gelled that night.
When we played with Truck Fighters, that was a good night.
Right.
It was a sold out show, so it was like just too much. There's so much energy. There's never too much energy.
Well,
but
you know,
one show that fucking ruled was we played the Chapel.
The Chapel.
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
With Saviors. And that was really fucking awesome.
Everybody was lit. It was just a great time.
Yeah, and the Chapel is a really cool venue to play.
And Dave Chappelle went on after us.
What?
Wait, what?
Seriously?
No. We came the day he left.
No, he went on that night too.
What?
Yeah, all right, we got to hear this.
No, Dave Chappelle will do these weird. Are we good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dave Chappelle would do these. He does these last minute like comedy shows in SF sometimes. you
Sure.
know? He'll do like 3 nights in a row. Yeah, but he did one the night before that. But yeah, after we played with the Saviors, when we left, we left at like 1:32.
Mm-hmm.
They clean out the dressing room, and then Dave Chappelle came on at like 4 a.m. that morning.
Wow.
And did like a 3-hour set.
So, we've opened for Dave Chappelle.
There you go. That's you can't get much better than that. Now,
We got a Comedy Central special coming soon too.
I think it's after the Cindy Crawford infomercial. though. Yeah. So,
we go.
With going back to your release, what song took the most time to create, or to get gelled together to where you liked it, and what song took the least amount of time?
I mean, I'd say longest probably Hurricane because it was like 3 songs.
Right.
And then it was like, all right, that's cool.
And now it's not in the set.
Sometimes. Well, we switch it.
One song that we got this. We did a Converse rubber tracks. They just put you in the studio for a day and let you do whatever you want.
Really?
They put shoes on your feet.
Oh, yeah, they do that too.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Brand new Converse shoes. You could feel the floor. But that was a cool opportunity because that's how we ended up writing Vulture City.
Right.
Which is weird because we never write in the studio, but we just had this chance and came up with the riff the day before, and then pretty much the lyrics, the solo, pretty much, all the ins and outs of the song came together in the studio at Different Fur in San Francisco.
All right. That's awesome. Well, guys, I know you got to get going, and I'm glad that you gave me so much time, and I'm really thankful. I know you put on a dynamite set tonight, and again, anybody that hasn't seen you, they must check you out. Now, before we go, I have a question, and how it works is the people I interviewed before gave me a question to ask you, and then if you have a question to ask the next band, I would love that. That would be awesome. So, if we can get together a little bit closer, because the question, I'm going to ask the question, and you all have to say your personal answer at the same time, because that was the way it was asked. Okay. Now, the last band that I interviewed, they call themselves death metal plus true crime is murder metal. So they did a lot of true crime stuff, a lot of serial murder stuff. So the question is really about murder. And the question is, who in the band does everybody want to murder first in this band?
Like it has to be someone in the band?
Has to be someone in the band. Who's gonna get killed first? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Myself.
I didn't even say anything.
And guys, do you have any questions for the next band I interview?
Boogers or toenails?
Booger, as far as chewing or eating
Smoking.
or smoking?
Yeah.
Well, a toenail. See, here's the thing.
That's a bad
Toenails, you got to put in a grinder, and
Who says?
And they're just
pipe.
they're a little they're dry, dude. They're too dry. You got to powder it first, and then I think it's better for a smoke. The booger, I think they're kind of. It depends if it's chewy or dry.
It's like toenails go in the bowl, but you dab boogers.
Tab booger.
So yeah,
Yes.
that you know what? I think
fucking booger
you
dabber.
made, and if I may put a 50-cent word in here, that is a very salient point, my friend. You nailed it.
You answered your own question.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I didn't answer it. I just clarified what it meant. Would you rather smoke toenails or dab boogers?
Okay.
Is that's the official question?
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
question.
Okay. All right, smoking toenails and dabbing buggers. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. I wish you much success on the rest of your tour. Thank you for spending some time with me, and have a great tour.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, that was the interview with Warcloud. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, let's hear a track. It's the first track off the release, self-titled Warcloud. This is Giver.
Coming down the skyway,
the guys in HAAZE sent me a track, and I know they have a release coming very soon, and I wanted you all to check it out. This is a band out of Alberta, Canada, And they have some really heavy, thick, swampy riffage. It's a 2-piece, and they're pretty freaking heavy, man. Check this out. This is Stereotypically Doomed. Thank you so much for hanging out to the end. I really appreciate it. And here's a shout out to somebody that has been really supportive of me. His name is Ade Radford. It's ADE_RADFORD. Follow him on Instagram. He is a tattoo artist in England over on the South Coast. He specializes in Japanese and Oriental design. So if you're over on the other side of the pond, check him out. You won't be disappointed. Thanks to everyone else. Hope you have a great week. Next interview will be Wolftooth. Until that time, keep going to the shows, buy some merch every once in a while, crank it up, and stay heavy.
Well, there's a quote that Dio told to Dave Mustaine one time, and it was, well, you know, we can jerk each other off all day, or we can smoke this joint.